I agree, but dengue is but I agree. But it's not an allegation. I have said that I don't want to blame them, but I'm really no, I'm not blaming. I'm really hurt. I live in Lahore. It's so scary. It's so scary. You know, people are really. If you go to the slums and those sorts of areas, where low income groups live, they are. Even if they got the cough and they would say we have got dengue. It's like scary in Lahore and other parts also. Yeah. So I mean, it's a mindset, I would say, we have that we lack skills of planning.
Is it fair to compare a mosquito-borne disease epidemic to financial incompetence?
Let me please allow me.
Just a comment. Just a question, and then I think that people's health is very, very important. Very important. I agree with you. Very important. Much more important.
Compare an apple with an apple.
Even then, the economies and comparing it to economic situation would be unfair. To me, it's very important for that people that this epidemic or any other epidemic, it shouldn't be spread like this, and no preventive measures taken.
Sardar Sahab.
I think first of all I'll come to the first issue, or I should come to dengue.
Please first. Respond to the dengue issue first.
I certainly will. We did carry out sprays in March this year also, but we were not aware of how big the problem is.
The mixing of the medication was incorrect, I'm told.
No, not even that. Not even that. There are three kinds of medicines. One is for larva, we have to put it on there. The other one is for adult mosquito, and the third one is for inside internal residue spray, which is internally done. And the third one is which is fogging, which is done outside. And it has a certain timing you have to do it. That is when the mosquito
sunset and sunrise.
We were not so knowledgeable about this thing.
So that's the incapability.
In 1954, it started in Sri Lanka, and in 2009, they had 35,000 infected people and 350 deaths. And in spite of fighting against it for so many years, for 50 years, they were still unable to handle it. What we learned from them, we learned new things that were never in Pakistan. These things never we encountered in Pakistan. But like we had floods last year, why wasn't the Sindh government ready for floods in Sindh? So if we start throwing the ball, let us talk about the issue now. My sister has just said...
Before we come to the issue, because I want to give you full time on that, let me take a break first. We're going to take a short commercial break here, and when we return, we're going to talk about one very simple thing. The government now is stronger than ever, given the PML-Q is back with a huge commitment from Chaudhry Shujat. The MQM has returned to the fold. Now the government really needs to focus. But will they and can they? This and more after a short break. Please stay with us. And welcome back to Witness. Before the break, Sardar Sahab, you were going to make a point, and I'm going to give you some amount of time to make your case, because one of the things that I have to admit that I'm concerned about is whipping up people into protesting. Protests that were already violent before your party joined in could be very dangerous for not just the government but for the country. Have you all taken a measured response on, have you considered the fact that this could spiral out of control and maybe even your party won't be able to control people's anger?
First of all, I didn't complete the point which I was making earlier regarding the dengue and the floods. Now, these things, we cannot blame the Sindh government for the floods. It's a God-given, it's come from God, it's inevitable. And if we say that they were not prepared, no matter what they had done, they wouldn't have been able to. We are doing our utmost, more than our capacity, more than we meet every day at 7 o'clock to review the situation, hospital situation, patient situation, how we are going. And it's been since the 5th of September that we are going on. And by the grace of God, we've come to a position of stabilization. But we are more knowledgeable, and I think, inshallah, we'll be able to counter it better. But the ones in Peshawar, the ones in Karachi, it is all over the country. It has grown more in Lahore. That has been the target because of extra rains. That also, we didn't plan the extra rains. it's beyond our control.
Can I ask one question?
You want to ask a question?
Okay. Just a small intervention. Next year, what do we expect? I mean, dengue will be, what percentage will be? It will be lesser than the intensity.
I think it's going to stay here for a very long time.
This is what experts are saying.
What experts are saying. It's not going to go. But what we've learned in this period, I think we are going to target the larva, the pupas, and the adult also. But we have to start, I think we might have to start the exercise for next year in October.
Yeah, where you start draining water and all these issues. I mean, I was just watching a news report where in Peshawar, there's an area where there are old tires that are sold. And the water collects inside those tires. So, you know, we need to educate people on not letting
that everybody has to participate in the campaign.
Yeah, this can't be
and this has come from Africa, most probably in tires, because this
Some people are saying Thailand also.
Thailand is also infected. Malaysia is infected.
This is a global epidemic.
But let me tell you another thing.
That Sardar Sahab has not made.
Let me tell you one more point. 10% is the responsibility of the government, because these are the roads, the parks, the areas. But 90% of this mosquito is in our houses, because we don't realize. On the rooftop, there's stagnant water. We have those pialas where the birds come and in graveyards. And there's so many other, but most 90% is in our houses and 10% is outside. We can take care of outside, and we've started an awareness campaign. We're giving brochures, basic, simple brochures, what they have to do in their houses. People are doing it, but we have to.
No, but we have seen these private lands which are full of filthy water, stagnant water, and which is neither the responsibility of government nor our, because people who own that land.
Private lands.
Civic land.
And you know, it's lying vacant and they are deep.
But that's
the province that doesn't have a health minister, how are they going to handle this health?
No, we have a health minister.
No,
we have a health minister.
They don't have a health minister.
No, the chief minister has the portfolio.
The concentration of power. The concentration of power.
Because it's a very important issue.
The concentration of power.
I'm going to ask a simple question.
We are even going to private colonies.
Like we don't have a woman minister.
We don't have a
women ministry has devolved. It has been devolved.
While it was there.
No, there was Firdaus Ashikaban was the
population welfare.
No, after that.
Okay, we're not going to get into that debate. I'm going to ask you a simple question, Mr. Rahman. You're from Lahore. Sardar Sahab is, I'm sorry, Sardar Sahab, I don't know exactly where you're from. You're both, all of you from Lahore.
No, we are from the same constituency.
You're from the same constituency. Okay. Here's a really tough question. When you have 18 hours of load shedding in a 24-hour cycle, and the temperature in Lahore, before I came to the program, I checked today, was 36 degrees in Lahore, most people have no choice but to sleep on roofs and sleep outdoors. Is it then unfair of us to say that the spread of dengue is being exacerbated by the power cuts?
Of course, power cuts affect, all aspects of life, including dengue patients, I would agree. But I have been repeatedly saying that Naveed Qamar Sahab made a statement today, policy statement. He had made an effort, 3,000, adding 3,000 megawatts in just 2-3 days. That's a great effort. But still we need, again, a large, greater effort.
To ask this, so we're going to ask Mr. Naveed Qamar ourselves, but the obvious question, for how long? Because the circular debt doesn't go away.
Let me tell you,
still for a shorter term.
We have installed capacity of 19,000 megawatts. I'm quoting the statistic book which I was reading today with Khurram Dastagir, 19,000 megawatt. They are supplying fuel to only 10,000. The 4,000 shortage could have easily been avoided. But as my sister said, that Naveed Qamar was planning. So that means there's no long-term or medium-term plan. They're working day to day. Like the railway stops. It stops because of fuel. It stops because people come out on the street, they're not paid their salaries. The pension, the women go in the lines in the morning and come back every day for 18 days to get the pension. They don't do anything except go to the bank. They don't get the pension. So they are not planning anything on long term or medium term.
You serve on the Finance Committee of the National Assembly. Do these questions get raised in your committee? As an opposition leader, do you ask the government why they are printing, fueling inflation
every day? 3 billion a day.
3 billion rupees are printed every day. I, as a citizen, simply want to know what is the money being used for. Isn't this raised in the Finance Committee?
Well, we've raised it many a times, but unfortunately our chairperson doesn't think that it's appropriate to bring in the agenda which the members ask, and she doesn't feel like having meetings because she thinks that all the problems are sorted out. So they never, even if we put in an application or we say that we want a committee meeting, it never takes place.
So my question is then what's the point of having parliamentary committees then? To explain to our viewers, how does the National Assembly Committee work then if you all
It's of no use, tell you the truth. Whatever recommendations we've ever given, they never are implemented. Not only Finance Committee, any committee. We feel that these all committees are talk shops, and we waste money for the TADA, what we get in coming. And you know, excessive effort which is being put in by the members, we try and find out, we investigate. Like this NICL case was started by our Commerce Committee, and which was 2 years ago, and everything was brought forward, brought in front of everybody, but nothing happened. It was hushed up, and then finally a suo motu case was taken up. So the thing is that whatever we bring up, certain people who try and use their influence, and they just get it hushed up, or they don't want people to know about it, and some of the parliamentarians are influenced, and the chairpersons are weak, and they do as they are told by the government to perform, and for that, or in order to counter people who try and expose such scams, they bring in more parliamentarians,
Mr.
and
Rahman,
we see the results there.
Is this the beauty of democracy?
Quatrina, I would say that if you compare with the past, the National Assembly, the standing committees of 2002, there is a world of a difference. I would say the committees are independent, better. Committees are independent, and I think 15 to 16 chairmen are from opposition, Muslim League and Q, they are the chairs. So they can bring in their own agendas, and they have all the powers to call whoever you want, a relevant person, relevant officer.
You serve on the Public Accounts Committee, of which Chaudhry Nassar is the head. How effective is the Public Accounts Committee? In fact, both of you serve on that committee.
I'll come to that question later on. I would say the chairs of these committees are even Madam Kashmala is talking about the Khurram Dastagir is the chair of the Commerce Committee. Ayaz Sadiq Sahab is the chairman of the Railway. Why Railway has gone down to drain when he is the chairman? He has to answer this. And secondly, and secondly, I would say that definitely committees are taking up the agenda, members are doing their best, and they are trying hard. But the recommendations of these committees are recommendatory bodies. It's not binding for the departments, for the bureaucracy. Or the government, it's not binding.
So if we want to make these committees, what's the point what is the point of having this committee?
I mean, this is not this government are not brought this recommendatory status to these committees.
What I
want to make it. We parliamentarians have to bring a law or a legislation.
That's what I'm saying. We can change it.
We should if it's ineffective, and then we should do it. And I think these committees should be more empowered, I would say, even now and in the coming years, so that recommendations become binding on the government and on the departments.
Yeah. It's politically incorrect to use Americanisms, but I gotta say, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Could have, would have, should have. Sardar Sahab,
yes,
please respond to the railways issue, and then I'll come to my question.
Let me tell you, if the head of the principal accounting officer, that is the secretary, is an honest, upright officer who's a true Pakistani bureaucrat, then they make things work. I'll give you an example. 150 locomotives are to be procured. We brought it to the committee. It's a 55 billion rupee procurement. We brought it to the committee and we had apprehensions. This committee, which has all political parties, I was chairing that. I formed a panel of 4 retired ex-general managers to give their comments. We are a recommendatory body. The comments came, and yesterday the executive committee discussed those comments point by point, adopted few of them, had reasons for not adopting a few of them, but they went through it. They listen if the chairman or the members of the committee are forceful enough. Let's come to another issue. 75 locomotives were being procured. There were massive irregularities